Today, we're going to be talking about rye, and not just any rye, the best budget rye in the game, the Old Forester 100 proof rye. And today, we're going to be seeing if this bottle here can compete with the Old Taylor straight rye. Now, this bottle is heavily allocated. This bottle is everywhere. Let's see who's going to win. Welcome back to another episode of Neat Bourbon. My name's Tanner, and today we've got another rye video for you. We're going to be doing a comparison of these two guys. We've got the Old Forester 100 proof rye, where the mash bill is 65% rye, 20% malted barley, and 15% corn. Age statement, undisclosed. And then over here, we've got the E.H. Taylor straight rye, bottle and bond. So of course, coming in at 100 proof, and it's aged at least 4 years. Now, the mash bill is going to be undisclosed, so, there are a bunch of rumors out there. Is it 95.5 rye? Is it 65% rye, 35% malted barley? We don't know. But what we do know is they're both 100 proof. This bottle is in that 25% range, and you can find it everywhere, and arguably the best budget rye in the game. This bottle here is around $70, $80 if you can find it at retail. This is an impossible bottle to find. At least it is for me. And then the secondary prices on these are anywhere between $200 to $300. So ridiculous price to pay. But we're gonna see, does this bottle knock it out? So we've got the Old Forester in this glass, E.H. Taylor in this glass. Just gonna taste them both back to back, give you my thoughts, and crown a winner. So, so this is the Old Forester rye. Man, that's you get a little bit of the rye on the nose, but definitely I get a lot of butterscotch there. Getting a little bit of that like spice in there as well, but like a little cinnamon with not overly rye forward there though, but picking up some a little bit of mint there. So let's go ahead and get into the ballot. Cheers. Oh yeah. So that rye spice really transfers well over to the palate. You're getting all the baking spices as well. Yeah, a little bit of the minty notes there. It's not rye dominant at all coming across from the palate. A lot of sweetness, a lot of the bourbon note sweetness. You're picking up some of that malted barley. The corn sweetness is definitely coming through there. It's not overpowering at all with the rye. I mean, this is very approachable. Getting no ethanol, burn or even flavors, on the palate. So it's a very, easy drinker, if you will. The finish is still going, so really enjoying that. So we're going to go over here to the E.H. Taylor rye. So smelling the E.H. Taylor rye versus the Old Forester rye, I'm picking up a lot more. The rye really jumps out of the glass more now on the Old Forester rye versus the E.H. Taylor rye. The E.H. Taylor is giving me more of like a refined like rye note there. It seems to be like a little bit on the darker of the rye notes. It reminds me a little bit of like the Kentucky Owl, those ryes a little bit. Big fan of those, so I do visit that bottle. Yeah, getting a lot of sweetness there, but let's go ahead and get into the palate. Wow. Okay, that tastes kind of like a spearmint hard candy. I would say the minty flavor is definitely a spearmint coming across there on the palate. That is really good though. Yeah, it's spearmint caramel sweetness. There's a little there's a little tiny as I breathe out, you can taste like a little fruitiness. It's not really a red berry or anything, but you just kind of get like a little bit of a peach, fruit, yellow fruit sweetness coming out as I breathe out, but getting a lot of spearmint, mint, baking spices. But I'm just going to go back and forth here and kind of, try to pick them out. There, I don't want to say one is like, sticking out right now. I thought I was getting more like butterscotch sweetness from the Old Forester, and this one I was getting more of like a spearmint sweetness, like with caramels. So it's going to go back and forth now and see. Before we get into my final thoughts, I just wanted to say that my overall opinion is going to be based on just the quality of the bourbon in the glass, excluding the price and the value of the bottles themselves. Of course, if we're considering value into this, I think that the Old Forester Rye is going to take the cake. But my following thoughts are going to be specifically based on the quality of the bourbon, excluding the price of the bottles. All right, welcome back, guys. So I've had an opportunity to go back and forth on these multiple times. Took some time away, had a bunch of water, revisited them both, did one, then did the other. You can tell almost out of both of them. So in terms of crowning a winner here, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to go tie here. And the reason why, hear me out. I think these are just, they have two different flavor profiles. They're both great. I think you get a little bit more like oily viscosity on the Old Forester Rye. I think the rye flavors in the Old Forester are toned down a little bit, but you get a lot more of like those classic bourbon, Old Forester that you get from like, the 1920s, some of like those characteristics coming through. And then that flavor is kind of complemented with rye. It's not rye dominant, but amazing bottle. I mean, for $25, that is spectacular. Now, coming over to the E.H. Taylor, you're getting a lot more rye forward flavors. So you're getting a lot more of those, the spearmint, rosemary type flavors coming through on the palate. It's a little bit spicier as well with like that rye spice. It feels a little bit more amped up. So if you're interested in a more like heavy rye forward flavor, I would probably go with the E.H. Taylor. But if like you're not quite into like all those heavy rye flavors, I'd go the Old Forester Rye. And honestly, I mean, for $25 versus like $70 to $200, I mean, like on the palate, viscosity wise, relatively similar. I'd probably give the nod to Old Forester. But at the end of the day, I just think these are, two different types of rye. I'd probably put this one more in the, category of more like a high rye in terms of like a rye dominant. And this one, of course, is a lower rye, it's 65% rye. So in total, again, it's a split decision. I hate to do that because I really wanted to pick out a winner, but I went back and forth saying like this Old Forester is definitely the winner. And then I'd be like, well, like that the sweetness coming through complementing the rye is like so strong in the E.H. Taylor. They're both deliver such a heavy flavor punch. I just couldn't in like a good conscience say that like one was better than the other given, they have two different rye profiles. Anyways, hey, if you've enjoyed this video, would you consider giving me a like? Would you consider subscribing? If you want to see more content like this, going budget versus allocated, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll be happy to spin something up. But I'm definitely going to be doing more videos with this Old Forester 100 proof rye. Going to put it up against some of my other offerings and see how it fares. Because this bottle is an absolute heater for $25. As always, this is Neat Bourbon. My name's Tanner. And pop the bottles and share the pours. And we'll see you in the next one.